Hey, you guys, welcome to High School Mathematics Buyback, presented by the secondary math team. We've missed you. Happy New Year. Hopefully, everybody's safe and healthy. Welcome to 2021. Woo! We made it through 2020. Here are some outcomes for the day. We want to share some resources, documents for quarter 3 planning. We also want to show you some structures for planning a 75-minute block for synchronous learning. And we also want to show you some engagement strategies along with checking for understanding and grading considerations. Hope you enjoy it. Have a great day.
And we know that the planning, the delivery of instruction, high quality instruction, engagement, and the checking for understanding is about our commitment and expectations to all our students. And we know that all students can learn at grade level and beyond. And we should always keep our lens of equity for all our students.
Hi, you guys. Just wanted to show some planning resources that I know we're all familiar with, but just wanted to let you know that we have consistently revised these as we find out more information. So please always, as you start your unit of planning, refer to these documents. You will see on our scope and sequence on our website, you will see that each scope and sequence has bold yellow highlights that, according to Achieve the Core, clearly identify as critical and essential learning for this course. To really focus on those areas, as well as you'll see standards that are not highlighted. Those are what they call lower the emphasis. In other words, don't spend as much time on those. And then they also have standards that have a complete line through them. They're stricken out due to distant learning this year and the different schedules that we have timing wise. You can completely eliminate those this year. Also on the bottom of our scope and sequence, you will see that we've attached the link to the priority standards document from Achieve the Core. Also in the scope and sequence, we have areas where if you scroll down, you will see each and every one of the units, chapters, broken down day by day, section by section, and we've adjusted it to a 75-minute block. And again, this document clearly identifies the essential standards, the major work of that course. And then also you can see down at the bottom, there's certain areas and sections that you can completely eliminate. This is just an example of what is found in that Achieve the Core document priority standards. It clearly identifies each and every cluster, each and every standard, what can be eliminated. It gives you the different courses, Algebra 1, all the way to Algebra Geometry, Algebra 2, and it clearly outlines some considerations for that particular grade level and that particular standard and cluster. And then we also have the guidance documents. Quarter 3 document shows us, remember back in Quarter 4 of last year, there was some unfinished learning. That's what this document lays out. This is especially important this time of the year because as we move into semester 2, that's where much of the fourth quarter unfinished learning occurred. And you will find some adjustments to be able to scaffold in or just in time where you might have to do a mini lesson prior to moving into that particular unit or chapter. Thank you. So just to recap what these documents and purposes are of each document, this is just a nice little overview if you want to know which document to look at. Scope and sequence shows you the entire year at a glance. Instructional planners help you to look at your lessons step by step, module by unit, but also lesson by lesson, day to day, and how we've combined those to adjust for block periods. Especially with the 75 minutes. Priority standard document from Achieve the Core helps you to really go deeper into the standards and focus on the right work. And then our quarter guidance documents help you to understand the unfinished learning of fourth quarter. Thank you.
Here is some optional reading for you as you begin to think about planning for a 75-minute block period. This article called Pacing Lessons for Optimal Learning talks about allocated time, which is the amount of time teachers plan for, instructional time, which is the amount of time actually spent on an activity, and engaged time, which is the amount of time students are actually engaged. To make effective learning happen, we want to maximize engaged time. in which students aren't just attending to direct instruction or doing the activities plan, but are significantly engaged as they do so. Basically, we want our Venn diagram shown here to have each subset get as large as possible so that almost all allocated time is also engaged time. This comes with careful planning, and the article linked here is a great resource we recommend for you to read. Here's a sample lesson structure you may use for a 75-minute lesson. Feel free to pause the video and snip this picture so you can later read the description of each phase in detail. Some important components of this model include a spiral review based on data, gradual release of each example problem, and multiple opportunities for student discourse, especially during consensus and presentations. These are the three components of rigor. In a normal school year with traditional scheduling, you might typically see 2 or 3 lessons build upon each other in this progression. As an example, let's look at 2 lessons that build from conceptual understanding the first day to procedural fluency the second day. Each lesson has a set of concepts or skills. Now we will look at how you might merge 2 days of traditional lessons into this year's 75-minute block. Using the planning documents mentioned earlier in this video to guide you, you might select only the concepts or skills that are essential. Use these for the gradual release portion of the 75-minute block lesson shown in blue. In the case shown here, the input model, structure guided practice, and final check for understanding would be cycled through 3 times.
Now that we saw what a 75-minute structure looks like and understand how to combine and manage time, let's see how we can deliver the lesson and use engagement digital tools. Throughout the delivery of the lesson, you have options of platforms and digital tools that will support you with student engagement. For example, Nearpod, Desmos, Whiteboard, the DocCam, PowerPoint, and I will be focusing on the main body of the lesson, which is the input model, the I do, the structure guided practice, the we do, the final check, and the closure with the lesson delivery and the student engagement. As we are doing the Think Out Loud, as we start the lesson with the Think Out Loud and I do, which is the input model, the lesson delivery options you have are vast, from Nearpod, OneNote, Whiteboard, Desmos, the PowerPoint, DocCam, and so on. So now what is important is after deciding what platform you will be using is really the student engagement strategies of checking for understanding. So for example, you have random calling, or you can call on volunteers using the virtual hand. You can use the chat for students to respond. You can even use the chat blast so all students can respond and get involved. Again, using the guiding steps and the guiding questions to support with student engagement strategies as you are using the digital tools. We are transitioning to structure guided practice, which is really the we do, where teacher and students work out the problems together, where the teacher is using active participation strategies through the lesson delivery. So again, the lesson delivery platforms that you have available to you are Nearpod, OneNote, Desmos, DocCam, PowerPoint, and so on. But the main thing after you choose your platform is really the engagement strategies that you have planned for through the structure guided practice, which is using guiding steps, guiding questions and guiding steps to call on students at random, using the virtual hand, making sure students unmute and speak, using the chat to engage students and to check for understanding, making sure that you use best practices as you use wait time when you're asking questions, and making sure you have equity through the voice of the students. As you transition from the structure guided practice, you want to check for understanding. You want to do like a final check where students are doing the work independently. And the teacher is really here checking for understanding using different tools, different platforms like Nearpod, Desmos, Forms, Poly, and so on to make decisions based on the student work. The teacher here can decide which students can be released for student practice using student-paced Nearpods, Desmos, OneNote, digital assignments, and so on, and which students will be pulled for small group. Very, very important in every lesson to summarize the learning with the closure. And there are many interactive tools that are available. For example, you have the Collaborate board in Nearpod, you have Flipgrid, you have Desmos, you can even use a Poly or Forms, even a digital exit ticket. which supports again with the lesson delivery and the student engagement strategies. And next, what we're going to be talking about is as we looked at the 75-minute structure of a lesson, the lesson delivery and the student engagement platforms and digital tools. Now we're going to be looking at the checking for understanding and grading considerations valuing student work.
Let's take what we learned from last semester and prepare for a new semester. Some challenges last semester included lack of participation in class and on assignments and tests. Some adjustments teachers have tried include the use of engaging platforms, modification to grade scales, and reimagining of assignments and assessments. We want to ensure our grades accurately reflect student mastery of standards. Consider some new ways to capture data on this, as traditional methods may not be compatible with these untraditional times. Take advantage of increased synchronous time to capture the data you need to evaluate your students' progress.
As we come to the end of our buyback session with you, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to join you today. We do want to mention the optional secondary math office hours that will be coming up this week, January 12th through the 15th. Topics to be discussed, any follow-up questions based on this video. And also we'll be sharing some possible structures for Monday asynchronous instruction. Hopefully you can join us, teachers, at any one of the sessions throughout the week, 8 to 9 or 2 to 3:30. Please feel free to join one. Just jump on in and bring some questions, bring some concerns. And then also admin, your session would be between 10 and 11. And again, just attend one of those and we'll be sharing some Monday structures with you as well. Have a great semester and look forward to working with you. Thank you.